All new at 11, more than 400,000 embryos sit frozen, unused. They're leftovers from 35 years of in vitro fertilization.
But now those unneeded embryos are answering the prayers of thousands of couples unable to have their own children. Good Morning Indiana anchor Beth Vaughn explains in a story you will only see on RTV6.
Linus has $1 million smile, but his parents call him a literal $100,000 baby. That's because the road to this joy was paved with huge cost and huge disappointment, time and time again.
To go through all that and then have your heart broken each and every one of those times is just devastating.
Paul and Jessica were not able to get pregnant naturally, so they turned to adoption. Not one, not two, but 3 adoptions failed.
We just realized that, this just isn't our path.
They were desperate for another answer. That's when one day online, Jessica stumbled upon the National Embryo Donation Center in Tennessee.
Who would have thought that we could be pregnant from someone else's embryos?
A pleasant surprise. Their Catholic faith tells them embryos are living beings, so while in vitro wasn't an option for them, this was. They acquired 10 embryos and a new sense of hope.
We then will take the embryos, place them in a catheter similar to this, and go up through the natural openings in the uterus to position them inside of the uterus.
Dr. David Carnevale helps women like Jessica get their bodies ready to carry a child, just like he would for someone undergoing IVF. It's in vitro that creates the embryos that couples then donate to other families. And it's that same science that allows embryo donation to work.
All we really need is for the woman who's receiving the embryo to have a functioning uterus. She doesn't need to have her ovaries. She doesn't need to have her fallopian tubes.
As in vitro becomes more popular, the stockpile of leftover embryos grows. Some are frozen indefinitely, some given to research, others destroyed. And thankfully for Jessica and Paul, some embryos are donated to other couples. Their second attempt with transferred embryos produced twins.
They were born alive, but their lungs hadn't developed yet.
They died at the hospital.
I just knew that I was meant to be a mom.
Last March, I found out we were pregnant with just one.
Joy, at last, a healthy pregnancy, which 9 months later led to a healthy Linus. Each state has different rules for embryo donation. In Paul and Jessica's case, Tennessee lists embryo donation under property law.
Essentially, when they were signed over to us, it was as property. And so the parents have no recourse to come back and say that this is our child.
It's harsh, but permanent. And it's what's helped Paul and Jessica expand their family after 7 years and thousands of prayers. Remember how Paul and Jessica started with 10 embryos? Well, 4 are left, and one day they hope to give Linus a little brother or sister. Beth Vaughn, RTV6.
And we hope that happens. Well, right now, Indiana doesn't have a statute on embryo donation. A group of lawyers, though, plans to lobby lawmakers to change that.
In the meantime, couples like Paul and Jessica find themselves traveling out of the Hoosier State, so their embryo donations are protected legally. If you'd like more information about tonight's story, you can visit our website, theindychannel.com.